From memorable victories to incredible jump shots that won games, there have been some pretty great moments in March Madness over the years. Moments like George Mason's magical run. Now, we all know this. It's not very common for underdog college basketball teams to progress so far in the NCAA tournament, but this one team shocked us all when they did exactly that. George Mason did that way back in 2006 when their team made it to the Final Four.
Please direct your attention to midcourt and welcome University President Dr. Alan Merton, Assistant Vice President and Director.
Not only was it shocking because no one had done it like them for a really long time, but they became the first team from the Colonial Athletic Association to make it to the esteemed Final Four. And if you think that's impressive, wait till you find out that they were also the first major team in over 27 years to reach this mark of being part of the Final Four. And hold on, that's not all. It gets better. Yep, they even outclassed huge teams with a reputation much bigger than theirs. Teams like North Carolina, Michigan State, and Connecticut. When they won against the esteemed Connecticut Huskies, it's still marked in history as one of the greatest wins in the history of March Madness. I mean, it was pretty impressive. No one would have expected such a turn in the tournament, especially because everyone was expecting the Huskies to win. But then George Mason turned the game around and proved us all wrong, making it one of the most memorable moments from the tournament. Unfortunately for the team, their winning streak didn't last very long after that, and they ended up losing to the Florida Gators in April. But regardless of that, what the team did back in that year was not only very impressive, but also one of the most memorable wins and moments in the March Madness history. And it wasn't the only one that made its spark in history.
You want to post, I'm blessed. Like, you're not blessed. You're bragging.
Let's not forget NC State's victory against Houston. You thought there was only going to be one insanely memorable win from the tournament's history. Nah, the history of March Madness is filled with such great victories, just like NC State's victory over Houston. We all know Houston Cougars is one team that everyone knows is fierce. I mean, it's Houston, Texas, baby, as Beyonce said it, so it's no doubt that they're one of the strongest teams. And there's no doubt that when NC State defeated this strong team, it was sure to be one of the most iconic moments from the tournament. And not to mention, this was the second time that the NC State lifted the national title, back in 1983. Yep, this is pretty old, but you see how it's being talked about after all these decades? That's what you call memorable. But it wasn't like everyone was expecting it. No one would have guessed that NC State was going to beat Cougars, and that just made it all so much more memorable. NC State started the game off pretty good, but that wasn't concerning. Most teams do that and end up losing, so fans of the Cougars weren't really concerned. And even if they were, that concern was lifted when the Cougars started getting stronger in the second half of the game. They got in the lead and were completely dominant for quite a bit, having absolute control over the court. So now everyone was sure that the Cougars were going to win. But NC State shocked everyone when they once again turned the game around. This was the comeback that made this moment so great, because that comeback led them to victory at the end.
So now, the epilogue of this story no mortal could even dream of. NC State, the first team to lose 10 and still win the national title. NC State, first team ever to win the title playing away from its home region.
Just like how it was a great moment when Tyus Edney made that drive. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna have to take you back a few decades back again. Not a lot, just to the middle of the 90s. This was the time when UCLA was on an absolute roll, and the team was making a great winning streak, and they seemed unstoppable. Everything was going so well for the team that fans and the team were sure that they're gonna register their 11th national championship title. But that all was about to become very debatable very soon. Why, you might ask? Well, it's because the team gave us a heart attack when we all thought they were going to lose. No, we were sure that there was no going back from the point they dragged themselves to, and now they were going to lose. But hail the basketball gods, because they had other plans. You see, what happened was that in a game against Missouri in the second round of the tournament, UCLA came very close to losing. And no shade, guys, but losing to a team like Missouri isn't the proudest moment, especially for an esteemed team like UCLA. UCLA. The team was trailing by 1 with only less than 5 seconds remaining. This was the moment when the whole game got turned around, and all thanks to one player, Tyus Edney. He was the player that stepped up and literally saved the Bruins from an ugly defeat. But how did he do it? Well, here's how he became part of one of the most iconic moments from March Madness. This was history about to be made, but it didn't take some rocket science for the team hero to make this match-winning shot. You see, first, he took the ball the whole length of the basketball court, right before he shot in just at the buzzer. So clearly, nothing special about the shot itself, it's all about the magic and the timing and precision. If he would have missed the shot, we would be telling a very different story right now. It all felt like a scene straight out of a movie, and it made Edney a basketball hero for the UCLA Bruins. That one shot was responsible for taking UCLA forward, and Edney was the only person to thank for all of that. UCLA went forward and defeated Arkansas in the national championship game before claiming their 11th NCAA title.
For an athlete to be successful off the court. So have fun and take aim for success at the OA Performance Invitational.
And talking about just shots that made teams win, there's no way this video would be complete without talking about the legendary one, Keith Smart's game-winning shot. Not only was this shot one of the most memorable moments from the history of the tournament, but it was also the one shot that gave Keith a huge amount of hype, and honestly, a lot of the fame that he has today. This was truly a turning point in his career, and no one had seen it coming. This happened way back in the 1987 National Championship game, so we're gonna have to take a trip down memory lane one more time for this. But trust me, it's worth it. It's definitely one of the most iconic moments from the NCAA. Okay, so picture this. There were only 10 seconds left in the game, and the Indiana Hoosiers were trailing by just 1 in the game against Syracuse in the final. So you know the heat is on. Everyone is on their toes, waiting to find out who's gonna be the winner. A very tense moment, not only for the audience, but especially for the players too. Well, in a heated moment like this, one player stepped up his game and turned the whole scene around. This was the moment when Keith shot his game-winning shot, a shot that won the 5th national title for Indiana. Not only did he become a hero for the team, but he also gave us one of the most memorable moments from the history of this tournament. Although his career wasn't as long as fans would have wanted it to be, he's still remembered for that one shot he made decades ago. And that was all about some of the greatest, most iconic moments from March Madness over the years.
The Patriots will walk this one out. VCU has waved the white flag, and the Patriots will win it 76-69. That's your final.
Practice every year when they come up on a court. There's no balls. There's no drills. All we do is practice cutting the net down. It's true. I have a scissor. I have a gold scissor. We carry each other up. We cut the net. They hook me up. I cut the last one. We do that.
Let's go back to what Billy Tubbs did and see if Jimmy Boeheim will try a similar play. And that is to go ahead and